everyone. Welcome to Lathe and Loom Podcast. This is, I believe, episode 17. And it is November the 5th of 2022. Thank you so much if you're a return viewer. I appreciate your joining me. And if you're a new viewer, you're very welcome. And thank you for taking a time to sit and check out the channel. This channel is kind of my way of documenting my journey through the fiber arts, mainly knitting, some spinning, a little dyeing, and a little weaving. I also have a circular sock machine, and this winter I hope to put some content with a flatbed knitting machine as well. So I'm well down many crafty rabbit holes, and I would love to hear what crafts that you like to work on, and if you want to leave me a comment, that would be great. Also appreciate if you take time to subscribe and give a thumbs up. That helps the channel grow, and I really appreciate everyone who's done that recently. We definitely have had a little bit of bump in subscribership, and I'm really appreciative of that, and also to several of the podcasters who have mentioned me, and I know folks have found me through those channels as well, so thank you very much. I have two main knitting items for today. I will first share a little bit of my twists and turns mystery knit along, which has been run by Westknits. I'm sure if you're watching any other channel, you've heard a lot about this, and on Instagram, so I will give you that spoiler alert. I will say I am only towards the end of Clue 2, so if Clue 1 and Clue 2 are not a spoiler for you, feel free to watch all the way through, because I'm not terribly far there. And then I've talked about on the last couple of episodes wanting to do a scrappy project and settling on the Triangulum Blanket, and I'm going to talk about that at the end. So first I have a couple of clips of my early journey with the Twist and Turns Mystery Knit Along. I apologize in advance. We were at the beach and the lighting was pretty bad in a couple of these scenes, so I'm going to crop it to be short and just get a little bit of my thoughts kind of as I was going through the first clue, really primarily during that time. And so I'll insert that here now, and then I'll be back. Thought I would do a little bit different format for this episode. We are in Emerald Isle, North Carolina for the week. And thought I would do a little bit of vlog style for a nod to Vlogtober. Fair warning, there are spoiler alerts throughout this video. So I got behind in Clue 1, so Clue 3 just dropped this past Thursday. Clue 1 is a monster. If you're participating and you're done, congratulations. I am just to the bind off portion of Clue 1, so quite behind, but that's okay. You know, I'm hoping maybe I'll catch up a little bit this weekend. Still hope they get done before the end of October if all goes well. I'm using Ruby and Rose's yarns. My main color is Log Cabin Getaway. My contrast color is Party Dress, and those are the two that you'll see in Clue 1. And then I'll give you a little snippet of the pop color too. And then as well, I will put in a piece or a photo with that in as well. All right, so here we have Clue 1. Here's the bind on edge, and here is where I'm binding off. And we have this very cool braided, it's these loops that we're braiding up. I think he's just so clever in his designing. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with these. They come up and they're going to hang up out here until we're done with one of the next clues. But I love how this yarn is playing off of each other. I may try to get some really good lighting and film a little bit of knitting of it is you're knitting on this log cabin getaway. The darker color is just really an interesting color. You get, you're knitting along kind of the main background color, and then you get a pop of magenta and a pop of blue and a pop of emerald, and so it makes it kind of really fun to see how that is knitting along. And my pop color that will be coming in Clue 2 here is Twilight. So that is where we are today. So I'll take you along through the week, and hopefully the vlog style will be all right. I have not really ever tried that, and we'll just kind of see how it goes. So thanks so much. Hopping in again. Sorry, the lighting is really bad in this house, but I have finished Clue 1. So again, spoiler alert if you don't want to see Clue 1, but here we are with the finished Clue 1. Super glad to be done with Clue 1 and moving on to Clue 2. So that brings us up to today. I finished Clue 1, and so this is your spoiler alert. If you do not want to see the mystery knit along, you're going to jump ahead a little bit here. This is where I am today, and this section here, you're probably familiar, is the infamous Clue 1. This was tons of knitting. I have to say, about, this far in, I was hating this knit. It's a lot of binding on, binding off. Two of my yarns are singles yarns. So that was kind of new to work with. But actually, as I kind of got into a rhythm and of it, and didn't have to look at the pattern for every single row, kind of, became a nice little rhythm, and I knocked out Clue 1. So here's a little bit of a close-up of that. These yarns are from Ruby and Roses. So Addison has a website, Ruby and Roses Yarn, and my main color is the darker is Log Cabin Getaway, and my contrast color is Party Dress, and that is a singles yarn. Log Cabin Getaway is Plump Rose base. My pop color is Twilight. I really like how they're playing together. You have heard about yarns, when you mix yarns from the same dyer, they're generally using the same type of dye, so those colors are blending quite nicely together, because there's speckles that are the same colors in multiple of the yarns. So I am really liking this. So I got past Clue 1, the infamous Clue 1, and then we had these nice oops, sorry, needles are clicking there. We had these nice garter panels with twisted rib stripes. There was several folks that posted or talked about on their channels the fact that you knit garter for both of these wings, but to get the mirror image, the pattern is written for knit garter on one side and purl garter on the other side. So there was discussion from a number of folks about your purl gauge and your knit gauge not matching and whether that would be a concern. And so some people reverse engineered in order to enable the second side to be knit. I went ahead and took it as a challenge, because part of the reason that I enjoy this knit along, or that I do this knit along, mostly enjoy, is to really stretch my knitting skills. And I'm pretty happy. So I knit continental and purl either Norwegian if it's just a few pearls, or if I'm doing a long run of pearls, I use a Portuguese knitting pin or necklace and do it that way. And I'm pretty happy that, I don't know if you can kind of see here, I've got the two sections overlapped. Well, of course now I'm holding up, it's not overlapping. The gauge was very, very similar. So I was really pleased with that. My purl might have actually been a titch tighter, and I had to kind of watch that because of the way you pull on the knitting pin. But you know, so it took me a little longer for sure to purl it, but you know, good practice. And I really kind of wanted to see, I definitely do see when I knit a sweater in the round and the top is knit back and forth right before you join. I do see a little bit of rowing out difference. So I'm hoping maybe that, you know, that I have a little more muscle memory to keeping those more similar, and maybe I'll see a little bit less of that. I mean, who knows, right, in the future. But I thought it was a good challenge, so I went ahead and just went with the pattern as written. I think it would have been quite easy if you haven't gotten to that part or you're going to knit it later. It would probably be easy to make the amendments that a number of people did. So I'm at the last section of clue, well, next to last section of clue 2, where we're putting these cables at the bottom here. And I'm really liking how the yarn is knitting up for that. So that's where we are. The official reveal of clue 4 is over, and I am definitely not caught up. So you know, I took a break this week. I had some business travel. It's too big for me to take with me. In fact, I took no knitting, which was really, really hard. I didn't realize how much I'm kind of used to that little bit of focus in the morning. I usually knit about 10-15 minutes in the morning, and then having that wind down in the evening. And I really missed it. So I'm gonna have to make sure I have some sort of very small knitting project that it could pop into a carry-on bag when I'm flying, because I just had space constraints. So definitely will look for that in the future. But so I'm enjoying it, but I've kind of just said, look, I'd like to get it done by Thanksgiving. I'm going to kind of do a section, then I'm going to work on some of my other knits, and then do a section. And hopefully we'll get it done by the end of November is the plan. So the other object I wanted to talk to you about is I've kind of watched the various scrappy projects that people have, and I didn't really, I'm not opposed to crocheting. It's probably something I could do a little more of. I enjoyed a couple of the crochet projects I did last year, but I really wanted a knitted scrappy project. I really didn't want to do, there's several of the different ones, but I wanted something a little bit different. I didn't really want the stripy look. I didn't really want to knit squares, though I kind of thought about that. I do like the mitered square blankets. But last year, I believe it was for her Advent, Ellie Jones of Craft House Magic. She is a maker. She does project bags. She's a yarn dyer. And she's got a really nice podcast that's my Saturday morning cup of coffee go-to. And she came out with the Triangulum Blanket. So I'll insert a picture here of the more full pattern. And this was really appealing because it's scrappy, but you can, it has a different look to it, right? So I have started that here. And I am doing, she has it written for fingering or DK, and I opted to do the DK so that I could use up my little sock scraps, as well as the row 1 minis that I've been getting, as well as DK yarn. So obviously if I'm using a fingering weight sock yarn, so I have a lot of that scraps, I'm holding it double, as I've done in this is a Circus Tonic, this is Farmer's Daughter, I believe. think this one's also Circus Tonic. And then this was or the Earth Yarns from my flax sweater. So this one is DK, and these other three are held double. So, and you pick up as you go. So, I mean, you are going to have some ends, clearly. But honestly, I kind of find that, you know, when I kind of get tired of knitting in the evening, I just kind of whip the ends in there. And you do use some of it to close up. So I think it's, you know, quite clever. And she's re-released an amendment to the pattern. If you want the edges squared off, there's a, you know, it depends on how you're putting it together, right? But you would have this half piece here to get it straight going down the line, or you can do it as an octagon. I heard her say this morning, somebody has one posted where they did it as the, I guess it's 6-sided. They did it this way, only large, right? Built all the pieces out so it was round and put tassels on it. So a lot of different ways to do it. And so I'm because I'm really would like to, I'm thinking about how I do my winter knitting planning. And as you know, this is, if you've watched me for a while, this is my hobby. I am not, I don't really, I kind of do what I want, I guess is a better way to say that. But sometimes there's a loose plan in mind. So the loose plan is that I'm going to kind of embrace at least the scrappy Sunday, and kind of try to knock out a couple of these on Sundays just as a change of pace from my knitting. It's a little bit larger needle than some of the other projects that I have on the go, so that'll be nice for my hands, I think, as well. And then I'm really, I've got several sweaters planned, and we'll talk more about that as I cast those on. And then I have a number of whips, so I tend to cast on a lot of things because they're on my mind, and that helps me get them off my mind. Like other people make lists, I cast on projects. And I've got several sweater quantities of yarn kind of sitting there waiting to get started as well. But I want to, between projects as I go through the next several months, try to clean up my whips as I go behind as well, because then get some things that are all fresh on the needles and new to see. So in the background, I'm still working on my Cyclone cardigan. Actually, that was a wonderful kind of palette cleanser between it's slightly larger needles. It's long rows of knit and purl with a little bit of brioche. So that was really nice last week when I finished the wings on the second part of Clue 2, just to have a something I did not have to think about, didn't have to look at the pattern. So I am looking forward to getting that one. That one's pretty close. I should get that one finished probably by the end of the month as well, hopefully. So you'll see more about that in future episodes. So that's really it. I just wanted to kind of pop in and touch base. I know it's been a while. It's been a little bit busy in my day job lately. So I hope you are having fun with your crafting. I would love to hear if you let me know what you're working on. And I wish you a happy November. Thanks.